Okay, so this is the follow-up. This is just, whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, boom. This is a follow-up, Paris Life in the House, woo, to the last video. I'm going to talk about the song JDM and how that came together. It was crazy. JDM was crazy, everybody, because there's like 6 versions of that song. And what you hear on the music video and on Spotify and everything, that's the final version of the song. But it was super crazy. So in the last video, I talked about how your recording can be your writing and vice versa. Your writing process can be your recording process and vice versa. So there's no shame in the game as long as you get it done. Okay. So talked about how I write songs in my head a lot. So JDM, I came up with the song in my head. The lyrics are very simple. It was a very simple thing. Basically me and Matt Lowen, shout out to him, at Matt Lowen Sound on Instagram. We made that beat at his house, and the beat was crazy. So we called the beat Japanese Autos. It just sounded like a car show or something, right? So then I walk away, I start hearing the, hey girl, did you wanna ride? I just heard that, and then the whole song just came to me. I kept the verses mad simple, and I was able to just memorize that to the T, right? So then I knew how I wanted it to sound, and I had a vision for the song. I knew how I wanted it to sound. So the first version, there's actually, I think, 7 versions. I recorded a super rough version, and I didn't love how it sounded, but I thought it was cool. And then I just kind of sat on it for like a year, I think. And then I tried to bring the song back out. I re-recorded it at Matt's house, right? And he'll tell you, actually my mom heard it. It sounded like super hyphy, which was cool, but it was like a lot going on. I didn't want to bring it to that hyphy vibe. I wanted the hook to be more sexy than hyphy. You know what I mean? So, that was the first version, right? Then I brought it to my old label, Totem Star. Shout out to them. Shout out to Pac. Shout out to Thaddeus. I brought it to Thaddeus this particular day, and he had some dope ideas on how he wanted it to sound, but it was really sounding like a Bay Area track, the coldest to me. It sounded good. His vision was good, but it didn't match my vision. So anyway, we got through the first verse. There wasn't enough time to go through the rest of the song. I ended up not doing it there anymore, but that's because I had a vision. I didn't want to compromise it for anybody, but he had a dope vision too. It's just not what I wanted for my personal project, and you're always welcome to do that, So it was cool. That version had a lot of layers and stuff. It sounded like real intense. It sounded dope, and maybe I can try something else with them, So the other version, after that, I showed it to some of the homies, and they're like, oh, we don't know if a song about Japanese cars, JDM, that's for like a specific scene, and, we don't know if that's going to be popping, whatever. So I was like, man, okay, what do y'all got? So we came up with a whole new song about basically like club life, VIP life, doing your thing. And it was cool, So I have a whole other verse I came up with. They had a hook and stuff. And then basically we kind of played around with it, and then they ended up dipping out. And I almost actually ended up selling that beat to one of those guys. I'm not going to name names, but I came this close to selling the beat. I actually sent him the beat with an email, and there was a clause that I put. I said, hey, once you download this beat, you agree to pay me X amount of dollars. And once I did that, then he was like, hey, you know what? Nah, I think I changed my mind. I was like, all right, bet. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. So then I was like, all right, I've been sitting on it. He brought up a good point. He's like, hey, I want to get this song put out with this beat quickly. Okay, before that beat goes out of style, or that kind of beat goes out of style. So I was thinking about that. I was like, dang, okay, let me just get this song done, man. So I just recorded the 4th version, or this might be the 5th version technically, but at my house. I recorded it at my house. And so the chorus you hear on this song basically came from that version. Okay, so that kind of stayed. And then once I did that, so this is technically the 5th version at this point. now I got the video shoot going, right? And so I was like, the day of the shoot, it was like a Saturday. I remember this like it was yesterday. And I was like, yo, bro, whatever we do at the video, that's how it's gonna look forever. So if I need to change vocals, I need to do it right now. So I told like the girls who was in the video, shout out, like the main girls, shout out to Barbie Lee and Aliana Aiko. They were the two main girls in the video. I told them to be there at like 2, I think that day, maybe even 1. Some early time at that day, right? But then I was like, bro, I'm about to be late, but I gotta lay these vocals. So I changed vocals the day of the shoot, right? So the kind of sing-songy vibe in the verses where I mix the singing and the rapping, that new singing vocals, not just the rap stuff, that came that day. I recorded that day because I was like, I'm gonna be like singing, you know, on the camera, bro. Like this is the final joint. This has to be done right now because this is how I'm gonna mouth it. This is how I'm gonna lip sync it or sing it. So, you know, I added all that day. Like, and then she put the rush on me. He's trying to talk all dirty, trying to touch on me. All that kind of stuff in the verses, that all got added that day. So that made me an hour late to the shoot, but it sounded dope. Okay. But shout out to everybody who came through. Shout out to Dylan Greenwood. R.I.P. Ronnie. Oh my gosh, that's my guy. Moment of silence. That's my guy, bro. He came through. He supported. He brought his Scion TC custom out. Shout out to George. He brought the S2K out. Haley, Veronica, all the homies, man. But yeah, that was crazy. So then there's technically another version because me and Matt mixed it, right? And we added effects to it with Gross Beat on Fruity Loops and some other stuff. Did some things to make the synth sound a little tighter. And then actually, my boy Rex Grant, shout out to you. If you see this, call me, bro, because I got more work for you. But my boy Rex Grant, my man, I should say, because that is a grown-ass man, he played the bass line you hear. We had a synth bass. I had him come through, and he played a bass line, live bass, and it was crazy. It made it sound way more cracking. And we added that after the video got shot, I believe, and we added some effects to it. And so then I was talking to the director, and he was like, hey, bro, you got a new version? I wish you would have sent that to me before I started the edit. So that's just a very long way to say, whatever you're doing with the song, make sure you have it mastered and finalized before you give it to a music video director. Preferably before the shoot, but at the least, before he edits that video, make sure you give him or her that final mastered version. So they have that to drop into the video so it sounds the same as what you got everywhere else, okay? That was the big lesson, and I'm going to leave this video at that. Love y'all. See y'all in the next one. Peace.